Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She's bringing World War II history to life through the eyes of those who live it. And of course, an author too of several books, none other than Miss Caroline Crocker.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Welcome, Miss Caroline. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Well, I am a scientist by training. I'm an immunopharmacologist, which means I looked at the effect of drugs on allergies. But
Mm-hmm.
when I retired, I thought about what is it I enjoy doing most about all the jobs I've had, and it's writing. So I decided I am just going to write books and I'm going to write whatever I please, and that's what I've been doing.
Yes, definitely. If you have the passion of writing, please do so and stop procrastinating. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Miss Caroline, thank you. And today let's talk about the writing process of all your books. So, looking across of all your books, what would you say is the unifying thread or core mission that connects them, and how has your understanding of the mission evolved from your first book to your most recent?
Most of my books are true, but they're written like they're fiction. Now, of course, there's a couple that are not written like they're fiction. For example, the book on how to do microbiology in your kitchen. But certainly the World War II books are true. Those stories, those incidents actually happened. And the children's books are true as well, except, the books about the dog Clemmy. I tell people that she wrote the books. That's not actually true. I had to help her, but mostly all the books are true.
So, Miss Caroline, you work often and tackles complex and sometimes controversial topics. How has your process for choosing a book topic changed over the years? Is it a calling, strategic decision, or something else entirely?
There really is no strategy. I've just done what I enjoy. The very first book I wrote, um, I don't really want to go. I don't want to do that anymore. But certainly the World War II books, I was really fascinated by the stories of those people, and I wanted to show through them that all children suffer in war, not just the kids who went to the camps, although obviously they suffered too. But I really wanted to bring that story home by telling the story of those children through their eyes.
Through their eyes, and that is a good thing to do, Miss Caroline. How do you picture as your ideal reader when you sit down to write, and what does the avatar change as you grown as an author and a public figure?
Well, again, who reads my books depends on which book they're reading. The microbiology experiment book that you have up there, I wrote that for my students during a time of COVID. And then I did those experiments with my grandchildren. And so, it's really anybody who wants to see what bugs and germs are in their kitchen. But the World War II books, they tend to be more for adults and maybe teenagers, but not people younger than that. The books about my dog Clemmy, those are for children who are not reading yet. And the My Everyday series are for early readers, for chapter book reader children. So again, it just depends on which kid, you know, on which book you're talking about.
Mm, yes. And you have a free books tour for interested in Christianity. Tell us what it's all about.
Those are books that have been given to me by a friend.
Mm,
And
okay.
so they're not books I wrote. They're just books that a friend gave me, and I thought, I'll put them on my website. Why not?
Why not? So, what is the single most important lesson you have learned about yourself through the act of writing and publishing multiple books?
I think that I love writing. I have read about other authors and heard them talk about how they discipline themselves to write a certain number of words a day. That is totally not me. I have to discipline myself to do something else. I really enjoy the writing. I love the research, and it's been interesting to me to see how my training as a scientist has enabled me to do the research that is necessary to produce a good book, especially those books about World War II. It's been just fascinating to find out, oh, I can find information that nobody knew about. For example, in my book, Brave Face, that is about a little girl who grew up in the Netherlands during the occupation. And she was an eyewitness to the bombing of a building called the Kleikamp building.
Mhm.
The Kleikamp building was where records of those who, well, of Dutch citizens were, including those in the resistance. And so the Allies bombed that building. But the little girl saw it happen, and she noticed that the Nazis were keeping the people in the building as the building burnt to the ground. On that fount of all knowledge, Wikipedia, it says 20 or 30 people died. Actually, she saw it. It was more like 200. And so that was fascinating to me to find out. Oh, I can find out information that is not known. Um, yeah,
Right.
by the same token,
Mhm.
Unforgivable. There, I was very intrigued with this little boy and his brother who were part Jewish. And when the Nazi soldiers came to the children's home where they lived and took the Jewish kids to Auschwitz, they didn't take him or his brother. And I was very intrigued to know, well, why didn't they take them? And so I did a lot of research and I found out why not. And that was very interesting to me as well.
On the practical craft and routine, could you walk us through the non negotiable rituals of your writing process? For example, do you have a specific daily word count or favorite time of the day to write, or a particular environment you need to create?
I don't have a daily word count. And in fact, if I don't feel like writing, I don't do it. I go and garden or something else. Um, it's very, easy because it is something I enjoy. It's my hobby.
Hmm.
So no, there's no daily word count. I think the non-negotiable is I need to have silence because I am someone who hyper focuses. When I am in the zone, as it were, I am completely focused. And if somebody comes up to me and stands next to me and asks me if I want a cup of coffee, I go through the ceiling. It's just such a shock because I'm totally focused. I don't even notice that they're there. So that would be a non negotiable silence.
Silence is the key
Yeah.
for Miss Caroline to write. And how do you approach the monumental task of research? Do you immerse yourself completely first, or do you research as you write? And how do you know when you have enough to start drafting?
I do both. I do both. Right now, I'm working on my third World War II book. So that is, taking up my whole brain, as it were. And in preparation for that, I read the books by the person I'm writing about. She wrote 5 books. So I read all those books and I took notes on them. And then I did a lot of research in my heritage and online to find out more about the people. And then I began writing, but I'm finding that as I'm writing, I'm still looking up things and still finding out more and more interesting information as I do it.
Many writers struggle with these structures. Are you meticulously outliner who plans every chapter, or do you discover the narrative as you write? Has your method changed under tight deadlines, if you do have?
I don't have deadlines. Do whatever I want.
Yes, it's hobby.
That's right. It's for fun. You know, I I'm sorry, I forgot the question.
No worries at
That's
all.
me.
No worries. I think this is your hobby, so it's not intended question for you, Miss Caroline. So the writer's voice is crucial. How do you consciously cultivate and maintain a voice that is both authentically you and accessible to your readers, especially when translating dense or scientific or personal concepts?
I suppose I probably do have a voice when I write, but what I try and do is write in the voice of the person who's telling the story. And so, for example, Brave Face is written in the voice of the girl who it happens to. And Unforgivable is written very differently because it is in his voice. It's a little boy. And so and the girl in Brave Face is fairly hyperactive, a little bit of attention deficit going on there. And the boy is abused. So they have very different voices. It's probably my voice, but on the other hand, when I write in the voice of my dog, you know.
Yes, definitely. And on navigating challenges and emotion, given a personal and professional challenges you have faced, how do you manage the emotional weight of your subject matter while writing? Do you have specific practices to protect your energy and well-being?
Sometimes I have to take breaks. Certainly, while I was writing Unforgivable, the subject matter was so heavy because this little boy was abused. He was rejected by his mother, and it was hard to write that. It was hard to write the scenes where he was being thrown against walls by the sisters. And, when he saw that the soldiers making off with his cousins and his friends, it was hard to write it. And so I had to take breaks. And what I do when I'm taking a break is I go and garden. I love gardening. And that also helps me to process what I'm writing and where I want to go with it without actually focusing on it. You know how sometimes when you are trying to figure something out, you can go to sleep and in the morning you know the answer? Well, I garden and I know what to do.
That's a good idea, Miss Caroline. So, writer's block is a common challenge. Can you describe a time you face a significant creative block while working on a book, and then what specific strategy you use to move through it?
Well, actually, I thought I didn't ever have writer's block. And then I
Mm-hmm.
discovered when it went away that I actually had it. And that's with the book that I'm writing right now. The truth was different. I did a lot of research. I read all 5 books that this person wrote and did all the background research. And it was such an unwieldy amount of information that I didn't even know where to start. And so I found I wasn't starting. I didn't really recognize it as writer's block. I just figured I wasn't finished researching. But then my husband and I went away on a vacation to Scotland and England, and I didn't even think about the book. And when I got back, I just started writing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I had writer's block, and it's over. So I don't know, maybe I should advise every author just go to Scotland and England, and you'll be fine.
Yes, definitely. Have a life, and life is too short. People enjoy life. And Miss Caroline, the editing and revision process can be brutal. How do you handle critical feedback from editors or beta readers, or especially when it concerns a passage you deeply attached to?
That's a hard one. Because I am a trained scientist, I am used to feedback. When you publish, you do get feedback. when you publish scientific articles, people tell you what they like and don't like, and you have to change it. And you have to learn to put your ego in your back pocket. So what I do is I ask for feedback from beta readers. If they give me good feedback, I don't use them again, because that's not what I need. I need criticism in order to improve. But sometimes the criticism is a little harsh. And then what I do is I put it on one side. And then a week later, I read it and I put in whatever I agree with. And then I put it on one side. And then I look at it again a few days later. And I keep on going back to it until I'm satisfied that I have taken everything out of that feedback that is necessary to take.
Writing a book requires immense focus. How do you balance the deep, solitary work of writing with the public facing demands of teaching, speaking, and engaging with your audience?
Well, I'm lucky. I enjoy both. I,
Yes,
you know,
that's a good thing.
I love the writing. I also love interacting with readers, and I love public speaking. Public speaking has also formed a part of every job I've had, so I don't find it frightening. I never have, except for once, but mostly mostly never. And so it's not a hard thing to do, and it's something I enjoy. I like to talk to people. They're complimentary to your face. Behind your back, maybe not, but to your face.
Yes. And Miss Caroline, what are your short-term and long-term goals as an author?
Short term, I want to finish the book I'm working on, and I'm hoping I can have it out by the summer, although it's a pretty involved one, so that might not happen. Long term, I don't know how many books in my head, and they all need to come out, so I'm going to have to live till I'm 150.
Yes, definitely. Good luck for your goals, Miss Caroline, and looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be an author like you?
Get started, and if you have to force yourself, maybe that's not your passion, and you do need to be passionate about it, because it's not easy. You do have to, not just do the research and the writing, but editing and a little more editing. It's pretty rough. So unless you're passionate, you may not do it. So that's what I would say.
Yes. Thank you for that advice. And what would be your recommended books that influence your journey, or book that influence your journey?
Well, the books that have influenced my journey are those that put you in the place. So, for example, I really enjoy George MacDonald's books. He's a very old fashioned writer, but he puts you right in the Highlands of Scotland. Honestly, I enjoyed Heidi because there I was on the Swiss Alps. I like books like that put you in the place. As far as a book that has influenced me with how I write, I would think the best one is Saves the Cat Writes a Novel, which is a really weird title, but it's a very helpful book for learning how to write if you haven't had formal training in writing books that people want to read, as opposed to scientific articles.
Mm, yes. And thank you for that recommended book, Miss Caroline. Sorry, beyond informing or persuading, what is the primary feeling you hope to leave your readers with when they finish one of your books?
I hope that they will feel like they know that person and like that person, and that
Mm-hmm.
they're left with a feeling of hope. None of my books ends on a sad note. Even the World War II books don't end on a sad note. So
A
I
sad
hope
note.
that it will leave them with a feeling of encouragement, even though they might be walking through a valley as they read the book.
Miss Caroline, if you could go back in a time and give your pre-published self one piece of advice about writing life, what would it be?
Um, I guess don't write your first book.
Why not?
I mean, they're never good, are they? I don't know. It's really something you can't skip, but
hmm Yes, definitely. And is there a single sentence, paragraph, or chapter from any of your books that you consider the heart of your entire body of work?
I would say probably not. But I would say that the first chapter of Unforgivable is one that has won awards. And so that would be the chapter that I am most proud of for now. And it's called If the Tree Could Talk. So that one is, yeah.
Awesome. So, Miss Caroline, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in sixth season this coming December. Abstract poetry in third season, and my book 101 review also is coming sixth season this coming December. Comedy 101 in Comedy 101 in second season, and Food 101 in sixth season too, Geography 101, and Love Letters, Movie 101 Review, Music 101 and fourth season, Science 101, Sex 101 in second season, Ama Baby Podcast, Law 101, Mental Health 101, as well as my Bible Verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Caroline, as someone who has shared so much for your knowledge and story, what topic or story remains unfold in your work?
Sorry, I didn't understand what you said there. Could you just repeat yourself?
Yes, definitely. As someone who shared so much of your knowledge and story, what topic or story remains untold in your work?
Ah, I would love eventually to write the story of my own life as a pastor's wife,
Okay.
because there are so many funny things that happened throughout our life, and eventually it would be fun to write that, but not yet. I've got a lot of books first.
Yes, definitely. Will you be my guest on Bible Verses 101 and share your favorite verse in the Bible?
I would love to. Sound
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much. And Miss Caroline Crocker, thank you so much for sharing your books to the world. Thank you so much for giving or sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support all your books?
Thank you. Again, I didn't hear what you said.
Yes, so can you please invite our listeners to support all your books?
Yes, please do. Please go to my website. It's called ramblingruminations.com, because I don't stick to one topic. And there you will find my 15 books so far, and I will put every book I write, a link to it up there, and a description. So do follow me. And also, that's where you can find out how to book me as a speaker, and you can read my blogs, etc.
Yes, people will support Miss Caroline Crocker, because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering books to come, more and more empowering speaking gig to come. So, Miss Caroline, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Shopify's point of sale system helps you sell at every stage of your business. Need a fast and secure way to take payments in person? We've got you covered. How about card readers you can rely on anywhere you sell?
Thanks. Have a good one.
Yep, that too. Want one place to manage all your online and in-person sales? That's kind of our thing. Wherever you sell, businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial at shopify.com/listen. Shopify.com/listen.
Having me.
More to come, people. See you soon.